Live from Philadelphia, here at the legendary Palestra. It's the site of the 2025 Gymnastics East Conference Championship, and we will see who can get things started here in Session 2 and take home the trophy. Hi, everyone. Alongside Fred Turoff, I'm Ari Bluestein. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN+. We had Session 1 earlier, Fred. Session 2 tonight should be an exciting night.
Well, these girls have trained all season for this meet, so let's hope that they have their best meet of the season and surely show us some good gymnastics.
Well, let's take a look at the individual teams that will be performing tonight. The Penn Quakers, along with the Yale Bulldogs, the Bridgeport Purple Knights, and Brown. And you take a look at some of these top performers. Skylar Carrico from Penn.
Well, Skylar looks like she's having a great season. She's ranked high on every event plus the all-around. So she's probably the anchor of the team.
And then for Yale, Gigi Sabatini.
Again, Gigi has done great in the all-around, and so she's probably their best girl on many of the events.
And for Brown, we'll take a look at Maya Davis.
Maya looks to be outstanding on bars and on floor, so let's watch for her doing some high-level stuff.
And finally, for Bridgeport, Abigail Kenny.
All right, Abigail is really good on beam and has scored high in the all-around, so she's going to be leading her team around too.
A first year from Westborough, Massachusetts, Haley Cribs. A first year from Hillsborough, California, Ellie Kearns. A first year from Edmonton, Ontario, Allie Forbes. A junior from Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, Gigi Sabatini. A first year from Golden, Colorado, Lauren Burt. A junior from Crown Point, Indiana, Meredith Donovan. A senior from Fremont, California, Claire Q. A first year from Burnsville, New Jersey, Charlotte Zong. And a sophomore from Rochester, Michigan, Lauren Holt. Assistant coaches are Isabel Fox and Sherry Wong. And the head coach is Andrew Lease. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you all to please rise and move your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
And we are ready to go for the GEC Championship session number 2. First rotation coming up. Penn will be on the uneven bars, Brown on the floor, Yale on the vault, and it will be Bridgeport on the balance beam. I'm Ari Bluestein, Fred Toroff to my right. And you take a look at the first rotation here. I know you have a lot of experience with this. Here it is right here. Penn, uneven bars, Yale, vault, Brown on the floor, Bridgeport on the beam. Where do you think is the best place to start? Who's maybe in the best position to kind of get things going here tonight?
Well, many people try to avoid starting on beam because that's the most critical one. The margin of error is greatest on that event. So you generally train in what's called Olympic order. That starts with vault, then goes to uneven bars, then balance beam, then floor. So most teams would like to start on vault. But this looks like it was a draw for starting position, or it could be that the regular season placements gave the top team choice of starting event. So I can't say that one is correct in there, but they know what they're starting on. They knew what they were starting on a week ago or 2 weeks ago, so they would train that way.
And of course, they will have to participate in all 4 events. There is Bridgeport in the Purple Knights. And again, they are starting on beam, so we'll keep an eye on them. We'll keep an eye on everything throughout the night. There is Brown warming up for the floor. And then, of course, Penn on the bars, and we mentioned Yale on the vault. So we will get things started in just a little bit. We had session 1. It was a very exciting right here at the Palestra. William and Mary kind of came out of nowhere and ended up leading that session. Of course, these teams competing against them as well, but I guess you just never know how the scoring is going to go here, Fred.
Well, very often people think that the second session means the judges are going to be a little tired, but these judges know what's coming up, and so that they at least had a break and can refresh themselves. And they know what happened in the first session. So I think they'll be judged fairly, and the girls know what happened in the first session, so they know the score to beat from the first session.
They've got a variety of judges here tonight. Carol Lovrich from New York, Jane Flynn from Maryland, Bobby Furnas from New York, Catherine Horan from New York, Tara Meyerhofer from New York, Pamela Paredes-Taylor from Virginia, Beth Renwick from Maryland, and Kate Schiller from PA. Those are your judges for this evening's session.
At a championship like this, they try to get judges from all the different regions so that nobody thinks that it's biased because they're all from Philadelphia area. As long as you have the budget for it, you can do that.
Well, this has been a magnificent event all day long. Warm-up still going on. We'll get started in just a little bit. There's Bridgeport again warming up on the beam, and that could be critical for them, like you said, to kind of get started here. Penn, this is their home gym. They should have a little bit of an advantage, but at the end of the day, the beam is the beam, the vault is the vault, right, Fred?
That's right. You have to be able to perform no matter where you are. This isn't their practice gym, so they don't feel as homey. It's not that they practice in this arena all the time. They'll be fine.
So taking a look at some of the participants, Yale on vault, Lily Alcorn, Gigi Sabatini, we talked about her. Ella Tashjian, Haley Kritz, Lauren Burt, and Ellie Kearns are the participants for Yale. Then on the floor, again, this is Brown, the Brown Bears. Maya Davis, you'll see her on the floor. Avery Walters, Lindsay Yang, Julia Bedell, and Sophia Dewar. Liza Marcus will be on the floor for Yale. On the uneven bars for Penn, Marissa Lassiter, Mimi Fletcher, Jordan Barrow, Zara Gazdak, Sophia Paris, and of course we talked about Skylar Carrico. Bridgeport on the beam, Samantha Krenzel, Emily Hernandez, Madeline Viles, Hannah Barry, Abigail Kenny, we talked about her, and Olivia Imberlina. Those are your participants for this first rotation.
The girls we mentioned, you notice, are far down in the lineup because they generally try to put up the strongest ones at the end. However, if your first girl hits, that's a great way to get started. So the first person always knows that the team is depending on them to set the pace.
The coaches, we'll mention the coaches right now while we have a moment. Kirsten Becker, in her 4th season, a Penn alum, is the coach of the Penn Quakers. Brittany Harris, in her 3rd season, is the coach of the Brown Bears. Andy Lease, the head coach of the Yale Bulldogs. And Lorraine Gallo, in her 4th year as the head coach of the Bridgeport Purple Knights. As you see, they are meeting right now with Coach. What's coaches saying to their performers right now as they get prepped to go into this first rotation?
What the coach is saying is, hey girls, you've done this before. You know what you have to do. Just treat it like a practice. Don't worry about the pressure of the meet. Just go have fun. Be a performer and show off your goods.
And we are ready to go. We heard the horn.
That's the end of the warm-up session.
Yeah, we were here early, Fred. A lot of warm-ups early on. You clear the floor, introductions, a little more warm-up. There you go. Deep breath.
Yeah,
there you go. Those are the Bridgeport Purple Knights. A lot of purple here. Westchester, who was in session 1, they're hanging out as well. So for Bridgeport, I believe that'll be Samantha Krenzel. And one final meet there for Yale. They'll be on the vault. There you see, top of your screen on floor is Brown. Sophia Dewar, first up.
It's a bounding pass on floor exercise. They lay out front to a front with a full twist laid out. Now, for those of you that ever walked on a fence, that beam is just under 4 inches wide.
Yeah, that is Samantha Krenzel, top right from Bridgeport.
The vault we just saw is called a Yurchenko. It's named after Natalia Yurchenko, who was a Soviet gymnast who did that back in 1983. She was the world all-around champion that year.
There is Dewar on floor, top left. So now starting on the uneven bars, that's Marissa Lassiter, bottom left for the Penn Quakers.
That's called a Jaeger. It's a release move. A German word. Every time you see them go from one bar to another, that's a requirement. They can only do so many moves on one bar. And that's a full pirouette to a stuck double back. You're always looking for a stick at the end of the routine.
And quite a bit of Penn Quaker fans here at the Palestra in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they're happy.
They seem to be pretty happy with that dismount. Nicely done.
Looks like Bridgeport was happy with the beam routine also.
We'll get you scores as soon as they come to us here.
The Penn coach is probably just reminding her gymnast of fine points of the routine. Remember, you do this, and you've done it 100 times, so make sure you just keep your head clear. One move at a time, that's very important. Don't think about the end of the routine until you get to it.
Look at that bottom left. Love that. Yeah. Bring signs. This is awesome. It's game time, that's for sure. That's right.
That's right. That's right.
So bottom right, the Yale Bulldogs on vault.
And it looked to me from the warm-up that they all do the round-off entry vault, where they do a round-off on the runway, land on the board backwards.
Yeah, this is Sabatini.
Back handspring, okay. Now that was a big step. That was wider than her shoulders, so that's a 3/10 step at least.
By the way, on vault, Lily Acoin, 9.75 for Yale.
The vault is called a stretched Yurchenko because she does it with her body straight. If she tucked, it's a tucked Yurchenko, it's not worth as much, although it's still a highly valued vault in women's gymnastics.
Top left, floor, it's Liza Marcus from the Brown Bears.
Women's floor is the only event in gymnastics, men and women, that's done to music. And the routine has to be along with the music, has to conform to the music and emphasize it. It also features lots of dance. Balance beam also features lots of dance. Tuck double back, nicely done.
Gigi Sabatini on vault just a minute ago, 9.65. Lassiter on on bars for Penn, 9.725.
You can see slight split on that release from high bar to low bar, and that's what the judges are looking for. These are called giant swings. And that's a nice stick on a hard dismount. That's a double back in a tuck position with a full twist.
And that was Mimi Fletcher, bottom left for Penn on bars.
Nice hard routine, a hard dismount. Now, the judges are getting together because they each give a score, and if the score spread is too much, they'll get together and go over the routine.
So finishing up on floor.
Nicely done.
That was Liza Marcus in the top left. They're still waiting on some scores from beam. They're still evaluating Samantha Krenzel. You can see her, that first participant from Bridgeport on beam.
It's a 9.45, it looks like, on beam, just out of the sight of the camera.
So they've got it. Yeah, that's one judge, 9.4. So 9.525
okay.
for Samantha Krenzel on beam.
That means the other judge had a 9.6.
So here's Haley Kriz, bottom right for Yale on vault.
A better landing than the previous girl. That was a small hop, probably a 10th off. There are other small deductions in the routine, in the vault.
So Bridgeport now on beam. This is Emily Hernandez, top right.
There's that release again called a Jaeger. Interestingly, in German, it means hunter.
Very interesting. Ella Taschin was on vault for Yale. She had a 9.65 right before Haley Kriz.
Yep.
And another good job on Penn on the bars.
Okay.
That was Jordan Barrow.
Yep. Jordan's happy with the routine, but she's not happy with the steps. She let go a little bit early on the dismount and landed, had to take a step forward. That was a 3/10 step.
Julia Bedell, top left on floor for Brown.
Let's see what her mount is here. Wow, that was a full twisting double back. That's a much harder skill than just a straight double back. That was well done. That's part of her dance sequence on floor where you have to do connected leaps. Bottom right, you saw another Yurchenko stretched, but that was a big step, so that's a 3/10 deduction.
And that was Lauren Burt. Previously on vault, Haley Kriz for Yale, 9.775. That was their best score so far.
Now where's the another pass with the double back on floor? Nicely done. The judges have to figure the start value of each of these routines, but on vault, the start value is determined by the vault that's done. So the judges all have a list of those vaults and what the start value would be. Start value means the highest score you can get.
So Bedell finished on floor, pretty happy with that.
That move on release move on uneven bars is called a Tkachev, named after a Soviet gymnast who did it first in 1978.
That was Zara Gazdak, bottom left.
Good landing. Good landing on the double back dismount.
Yeah, so far the scores on bars have all been above 9-7 for Penn. You had Barrow 9.75 previous to Gazdak, so we'll see what her score is.
Okay.
So Lauren Burt on vault for Yale got a 9.75. Here is Ellie Kearns, their final participant, on the bottom right. Top right for Bridgeport, Madeline Viles on beam.
It always amazes me how the women learn to tumble in such a straight line. Because obviously with a beam that's not quite 4 inches wide, if you're off by an inch, you're off the beam.
Still waiting on some scores.
Yep.
Oh.
You have to learn how to jump straight up. So those wobbles are all deductions from the judges.
Julia Bedell, a 9.8 for Brown.
Dismount on beam is a back layout or stretched with 1.5 twists.
On floor, top left, Lindsay Yang for the Brown Bears.
On bars, here's a kip, glide kip.
Yep, this is Sophia Paris, bottom left.
Toe on, now she's going to jump to the high bar. That was nicely done, that transition. That's called a Stolder. And, whoa, nice soft landing. Very nice routine.
Yeah, Penn's
Very nice.
scores on bars have been very good so far. There's the scores for the Yale vault. They had a high of the 9.775 with Chris. Kearns just got a 9.65. Fred, what do you think about those scores on vault for Yale?
Well, it indicates there were small flaws in all the vaults. Now, every time, if a vault is supposed to be straight and they bend a little bit, called piking, that's a deduction. And every step is a deduction. If it's a small step, it's 1/10. If it's a big step, it's 3. A few of those 9.65s had the big step. So if they had landed without moving, that means probably they would have had 9.9 or better on the vault. But that's landing is a tough thing at the end of a routine. You're a little tired. You got to put your feet in the right place.
So finishing up there on floor, that was Lindsay Yang for Brown. Next up on beam for Bridgeport is Madeline Viles. Emily Hernandez with a 9.55 on her last performance on beam. Well, it's kind of what you thought, Fred, but beam's kind of the toughest. Viles just finished up. That's a 9.475.
Yeah,
so this is Hannah Barry now for Bridgeport.
And you saw she had a couple of wobbles in the routine, so that takes away. Yep.
So now on bars, this is Skylar Carrico. We talked about her, Fred.
Yep. Let's see Skylar. Nicely done toe on and off. Right to a handstand, that transition. Right to a handstand, that cast. Here comes, and it looks like full twisting. Boom. See, she was a little bit off balance, but see what the judges do with that. But it's a nice, very nice routine. All this the moves that were supposed to be to a handstand went to a handstand.
Yeah, previously Sophia Paris had a 9.825, so pretty good scores for Penn in this first rotation on the bars. Again, for Bridgeport on beam, this is Hannah Barry. On floor right now, this is Avery Walters for Brown.
Beam and floor are the longest events, so they're always going to finish after the others. That's a pike double back.
Yeah, the vault is done for Yale. We're waiting for the scores for Carrico on bars for Penn.
That was a front full twist off the side for unbalanced beam. Nicely done.
That was Hannah Barry for Bridgeport. So far, their highest score was the 9.525 by Samantha Krenzel. So we'll see if Barry can surpass that. And again, on floor, this is Avery Walters on the left side of your screen.
Nice combination pass, back salto, stretch with 1.5 twist to a front layout. And a nice finish.
And while we wait for Hannah Barry's scores on beam, that's Abigail Kenny. And we talked about her a little bit from Bridgeport. How about Skylar Carrico, a 9.9 on bars.
Yep.
She had a 9.85 and a 9.95 from the judges. There you go. There's the final scores there for bars for Penn. Just got better and better there, Fred.
Yep. Each one built on the success of the girl ahead of her and did a little bit better routine. Skylar's routine was more precise than the previous ones, and the score shows it.
Certainly finished strong there for Penn. A great start for the Quakers. They are done on bars. We already said Yale is done on vault. We're still waiting for the scores for Hannah Barry on beam and Avery Walters on the floor. And the final participant for Brown on floor will be Maya Davis, who we talked about. We'll see if Brown can finish strong for their final participant in the floor exercise.
And Maya's highest score on floor exercise was a 9.9 this season, so it'll be interesting to see if she can match that.
Hannah Barry on beam, 9.425. And here goes Abigail Kenny, right side of your screen for Bridgeport. Oh, she's
sad.
down, yeah.
That's a very hard move. It's a blind landing because you can't see the beam below you. You have to make sure that you take off straight. And there she did it again. This time was a lot better, although a little bit of a wobble, as you can see.
All right, so here goes Maya Davis, left side of your screen. Final floor participant for Brown.
Nice high double pike. And she's well trained because her feet were pointed during the pike. Very often you see when someone bends in a pike, they hook their feet. So judges know to look for that. Oh, that was a double twist dismount off the beam. That's a difficult dismount.
So we'll see what score Abigail Kenny gets. We saw her go down once.
Yeah, Abigail will be disappointed because she had that fall. It's on a very difficult skill, though.
So one more participant on beam for Bridgeport. That'll be Olivia Imbarlina. And then this is the final participant on floor here, as we mentioned, for Brown, Maya Davis. As we wrap up the first rotation.
Nice finish. She's happy. Coach is happy. Assistant coaches are happy.
Coach Brittany Harris, right there on your screen on your right. She's been pretty happy all day, really encouraging her performers. So again, final participant here, once we get the scores for Abigail Kenny, this will be Olivia Imbarlina on Bridgeport, the final participant here in the first rotation. So far, Yale, a total of 48.575 on vault, 48.875 for floor. Maya Davis gets to 9.9, so that's what you said, Fred. That's what we expected.
Yep.
For Maya Davis, a good, strong finish.
She matched her
for
season
Brown.
high. She matched her season high. And not much more she can do.
And for Penn, their total on bars was 49. There's your final totals there for Brown. And again, yeah, a little bit up and down, but you finish strong with Maya Davis right there. So now we'll see where Bridgeport comes in on beam. We're still waiting for the scores for Kenny. So it ends up being a 9.05. She had the one fall. What do you think about that score, Fred, the 9.05 for Abigail Kenny?
Yeah, well, if you add on a half a point, then 9.55, and she had a few other bobbles, you know. So, but remember the second time she did the tuck front, she also had a major bobble there. So the score was right.
So Olivia Imbarlina to finish it up for the Bridgeport Purple Knights.
That's a nicely connected tumbling pass. Forward, right into backward without a hesitation. Some of these skills, some of these connections can give you extra points. The judges appreciate it. They can get bonus points. Right now she's looking quite good. No bobbles, and she's right on top of the beam. And back handspring right into a 1.5 twisting tuck.
I think that's a real strong finish there for the Purple Knights.
Yep, yeah, that was a good routine, real good routine. Everybody's happy.
Olivia Imbarlina waiting for her score. And as soon as we get that, that will wrap up the first rotation.
And we'll see how the teams stack up after rotation number 1.
So we'll get Imbarlina scores when we return. We're going to take a timeout. Second rotation coming up. You're watching the Gymnastics East Conference Championship here on ESPN+. Back live here at the Palestra in Philadelphia alongside Fred Toroff. I'm Ari Bluestein. The site of the GEC Championship, session number 2. Let's take a look at the scores from the first rotation. And Penn, really nice job so far. 49 for the event total. They really did a nice job on bars. Brown, solid on floor, 48.875. Yale, pretty good on vault, 48.575. Bridgeport, a little bit low on beam. But we talked about it, Fred. Beam is probably the toughest to start out on, and Bridgeport will now move to the floor.
Well, it's harder to fall off the floor than it is to fall off the beam.
That would be very true. Yes,
for
indeed.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But I'm sure Bridgeport was a little disappointed because of the bobbles and the falls. But you notice the top 3 are all very close. It's within a half a point. So it's still anybody's game. And Penn had a very nice set of bar routines, and there was
just warm-ups, just warm-ups.
Yeah.
All right, so Penn will now be on beam, looking down the far end in the camera. Brown is now on the vault. That's who's warming up. You can see them on the right of your screen. Yale will be on the bars, and it will be Bridgeport on the floor here in the second rotation. There you go. There it is right there.
That's it.
Beam, bars, vault, floor in that order for Penn, Yale, Brown, and Bridgeport. And I think Bridgeport this is a good opportunity for them to try and get back into it. You know, Abigail Kenny will get another shot at it on floor. So we're going to take a look at the participants for each team. It'll be Madeline Viles, Nova Starek, Lola Sepulveda, Skylar Volchev, Abigail Kenny, and Margaret Coyle. That's on floor for Bridgeport. On beam for Penn, Jordan Barrow, Fofana, Werlin, Carrico, Fletcher, and then Samantha Wu. There is the uneven bars, the Yale Bulldogs. Lauren Holt, Lily Acoyne, Lauren Liu, Ellie Kearns, Haley Kriz, and Chloe DeJoy. And then finally on vault, Lindsay Yang, Jessica Lin, Gabby Mountainer, Umi El Maman, Sophia Dewar, and Julia Bedell for Brown on vault. Those are your participants here in our second rotation.
Well, looks like the warm-up is over and we're ready for action.
Top left, Bridgeport on floor. Top right, Penn on beam. Bottom left, Yale on the uneven bars. And bottom right, Brown on the vault.
Now, Penn just has to stay on the beam to maintain probably their lead, is my guess. But beam is not a forgiving event.
I was just about to say, Fred, easier said than done.
Yes, for sure. All right, we're starting on floor.
And here we go, Madeline Viles for Bridgeport.
Combination pass, 1.5 twisting back stretch to front layout. And beam has started.
Jordan Barrow on beam for Penn.
Full turn she just did is one of the requirements. You have to do a full turn in your routine. That was very nice. A back handspring step out to back layout step out.
Madeline Viles, top left.
That was a front with 1.5 twists. And she's doing very well now.
And Jordan Barrow, top right.
All right, that's the Jaeger release that was done on bars. Yep.
Yep, on bars, that's Lauren Holt for Yale.
Full pirouette. That's a back stretch with 1.5 twists.
Jordan Barrow finishing up on beam. And a good start on vault.
Vault, that was a stretch Yurchenko. So the start value of that is not as high as the ones we've seen before because it doesn't involve any twisting.
That was Lindsay Yang, bottom right for Brown on vault. So everyone finishing up there, waiting for scores.
Yeah.
I think a pretty good start overall for every team in this second rotation.
Yeah, everybody landed when they were supposed to land. You only want one landing in the routine. Yeah.
So the second performers for each squad getting ready to go, just waiting for our scores. Okay, on vault, Lindsay Yang for Brown, 9.45.
And because that vault didn't start as high as the other ones, that's why the score is lower.
So this will be Jessica Lin, bottom right, ready to go for Brown.
Same vault that was done by the previous young lady with a better landing. It was a very small hop and good position in the air.
Starting on bars is Lily Acoyne.
Oh,
She goes down, unfortunately.
Just a little too far away. She was on her fingertips. Couldn't quite hold on.
So for Penn on beam, This is Fofana, Mani Fofana. And previously for Jordan Barrow, a 9.875 for Penn on beam. Lauren Holt on bars prior to a coin with a 9.70.
She's got to get going. She's got 30 seconds to get back up. Otherwise, the routine is finished. Okay, she took her whole time.
For Bridgeport, Nova Starek, top left on floor. Bottom right for Brown, Gabby Mountainer. And another good dismount there for Penn on bars.
Yep.
Excuse me, for Yale.
For
Yale on bars.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she had that fall, so there's a half point off right away. So she's going to hopefully not count in the scoring. Okay, on vault, you just saw a tuck Yurchenko with a full twist. And you see the lines on the floor. The girls have to land within those lines to avoid any deduction.
So prior to Mountainer, Jessica Lynn on vault for Brown with a 9.525. For Bridgeport, Madeline Viles, 9.575.
Almost out on floor. The line is good. If you step on the line, you're still good. But if you step out with 1 foot, that's a 10th off. If you step out with 2 feet, that's 3/10 off. So those are things that the judges have to look for.
Yep, so that was Nova Starek on floor for Bridgeport. So for Brown on vault, Umi El Maman. Getting ready to go, waiting for scores. For Brown, Gabby Mountainer with a 9.625. So Brown's scores going a little bit up as time goes on here. For Penn, Fofana on beam, a 9.85. So this is now Alicia Werlin on beam, top right for Penn. On bars, Lauren Liu, bottom left.
She's doing very well so far.
So that is Yale, bottom left.
Oh, a terrific landing on a stretch double back on uneven bars.
By the way, for a coin, an 8.875 because of the fall.
Yeah.
But Liu should make up for that a little bit.
If the rest of the girls all hit, they won't count the low score, and that'll be very nice for them.
This is Lola Sepulveda, top left on floor for Bridgeport. And a fall there for Penn. That's Alicia Werlin, top right.
Double twisting front layout on floor exercise. It's a hard skill to land well. Back handspring step out to 1.5 twist dismount. Oh, she's sad because the fall occurred toward the end of the routine. She was almost done.
On vault for Brown, a 9.725 for El Maman. So now this will be Sophia Dewar, bottom right.
All right, that was the stretch Yurchenko full twist. So each vault's gotten a little bit harder.
Ellie Kearns on bars, bottom left for Yale. as Sepulveda finishes up on floor for Bridgeport.
And another nailed landing. She's happy.
By the way, Lauren Liu, a 9-8 on bars right before Kearns. So we'll see what Kearns gets. Yeah. Sophia Dewar on vault, a 9.75 for Brown. And this will be Julia Bedell, the final participant for Brown on vaults here in the second rotation. So bottom right, Bedell will finish up for Brown.
Decent vault. You could see she was piked a little bit. That means bent at the hips a little bit. And she was a little crooked over the top, but it's hard to see that from the side.
Top right. Skylar Carrico from Penn on beam.
Remember, Skylar is ranked highly on all these events in this conference, so we expect a good routine from her. Back handspring step out to a back layout step out, done with good precision. And there's a nice tuck front, a very easy landing.
On vault, Bedell with a 9.725 to finish up for Brown.
And a half twist. Small hop, but Carrico did a very nice beam routine.
That's Haley Kriz on bars, bottom left.
That was a double layout dismount. So just a tiny hop. But
top
nice
left,
routine.
we're waiting on floor scores for Sepulveda. Skylar Volchev getting ready to go. So Brown is wrapped up on vault with a 48.35 on vault. There's the final scores there. Now pretty solid. Went up. Actually, Bedell was a 9.725, at least from what I'm seeing on the score.
I
think they got the 7 and the 2 reversed, but
dyslexic scoring.
So everything above the 9.45.
Yep. Yeah, and each vault got a little bit better.
Yes, it did.
In terms of difficulty.
Dewar had the 9.75. Yep.
The last 3 vaults were all higher valued than the first 3 vaults.
So still waiting for some scores to come in. And again, Brown is wrapped up. Got a couple more left on bars. Well, actually, one more left on bars. Haley Kriz with a 9.625 on bars. So Chloe DeJoy, bottom left, will finish it up for Yale. Mimi Fletcher getting ready to go on top right on beam. We're waiting for the scores for Carrico. Still waiting for the scores on Sepulveda's floor exercise. But DeJoy is live now, bottom left. Final participant on bars.
Skylar Carrico got a 9.85.
There you go. Great score for Carrico.
Pike Yeager on the uneven bars.
Fletcher getting going, top right on beam for Penn.
Double layout dismount off bars, but a big step. She didn't absorb very well in that landing. She could see she was just not quite ready for it. Good pass on the balance beam. And this is a required full turn.
Yep, there's Fletcher. Samantha Wu, the final participant on beam for Penn after Fletcher.
Nice front aerial. setting up for a dismount. Here we go, round off, back 1.5. Probably a 3/10 hop on that, but nice routine, nicely done. And now looking at floor.
Yeah, Sepulveda got a 9.475. This is Skylar Volchev. So left side of your screen for Bridgeport, Volchev.
Another front with a double twist.
Chloe DeJoy with a 9.625 on bars for Yale. So they will finish with a 48.4 for that event here in the second rotation. There's the final scoring there for Yale. The toss out to 8.875, otherwise pretty good scores.
Yep. Anytime you're in the upper part of the nines, you're happy. Well, that was interesting. That was a front with 1.5 twist, punching into a double back on floor. It's an unusual pass, kind of neat.
And that was Skylar Volchev on floor for Bridgeport. And as we wait for the scores from Mimi Fletcher on beam, Samantha Wu is getting ready to go for Penn.
Here she goes.
A 9.55 for Mimi Fletcher. So here is Samantha Wu.
When you watch the ladies tumble on the beam, knowing that they have to be so precise and so straight, if you just stand on the floor and jump up, very often you won't land exactly where you are because you haven't trained for that particular aspect. Oh, now that's a leap where she loses sight of the beam because she looks back, and so you have to be very vertical. That's called a gainer dismount. She goes forward, but she's in the backward somersault in the pike position. Just a small hop, but nicely done.
Samantha Wu wraps up the balance beam for Penn.
She's happy and the team's happy.
Penn was in the lead after the first rotation. Skylar Volchev still waiting for her scores. It'll be Abigail Kenny on floor next there is Kenny for Bridgeport.
No 9.9s yet in this rotation. So the girls have had some flaws, but they perform very well.
So still waiting on some scores here. As Kenny is ready. You've got Abigail Kenny and then Margaret Coyle. So you still have a couple of left on floor for Bridgeport here in the second rotation. Brown is done on vault. Yale done on bars. Penn is now done on beam. We're just waiting for the final score. Kenny looking to bounce back from a tough fall on beam in the first rotation.
Yep.
But we talked about her. She's one to watch for the Bridgeport Purple Knights. I'm still waiting for some scores here.
Yeah, what she's putting on her feet is magnesium carbonate. We call it gymnastics chalk. It absorbs sweat and oils and gives you a better grip. Especially important on bars because you don't want to slip off with your hands. And you'll notice that when we get to bars, you'll notice the ladies are wearing hand guards. Those are leather straps that take a lot of the punishment. There's an awful lot of friction on your hands on bars. What you'll find after a bunch of training with hand events is that you develop a thick layer of calluses on your hands to protect you. And you don't want to stress your skin to the point where it rips, because then you got an open wound, you got to fix it, and sometimes you got to perform with it. Never a good feeling thing to have happen. Okay, so now we go to floor.
Yep, Volchev got a 9.675, so that's the best score for Bridgeport so far. Here is Abigail Kenny.
So far, she's very well coordinated with the music. And it is 2.5 twist back. And she landed it well. That's what we call a blind landing, where you don't really see the ground beneath you. So you have to judge where you are by your surroundings. You learn how to look at things. We call that spotting for the landing. It's a front full twist in a stretch position to a tuck front. So it's a combination pass. And 3 leaps right in a row. That's a nice combination. It's a front with 1.5 twists. Trampolinists call it a Rudolph. So we often call it a Rudy for short.
Abigail Kenny finishing up there on floor. And by the way, Samantha Wu with a 9.7 for Penn on beam. So Penn finishes the rotation here with a 48.825. So Penn remains in first place. It is very tight though. We'll see where Kenny comes in on floor, and one more performer on floor for Bridgeport is Margaret Coyle. There's your scores for beam.
Yep.
Very solid, a lot of 9.7, 9.8s there for the Penn Quakers.
The last floor, you may have noticed, did not contain a double somersault of any kind. So her tumbling, although it's hard tumbling, it's not as hard as some of the other girls have done so far.
So you take a look at what we've seen so far. Penn is done on bars and beam. Yale is done with vault and bars. Brown done with floor and vault. So this really, this could go either way as we finish up our second rotation here with Margaret Coyle, our final performer on floor for the Bridgeport Purple Knights.
That's a 1.5 twisting somersault directly into a leap, so she connected that. No hesitation between. That's a tucked 1.5 twisting front salto. Another connected pass, 1.5 twist to a pike front.
Margaret Coyle finishing
goes.
up on floor for Bridgeport. So Abigail Kenny came in at a 9.7, and that was the highest on floor thus far for Bridgeport, and you would have to think Coyle gets a pretty good score as well after that routine.
Yeah. Yep. She did a nice floor exercise, but again, it didn't have a double somersault, so the tumbling wasn't as hard as some of the other teams that we've seen and we will see. But it was a nice routine to watch.
So if you're in the 9.6, 9.7 range here, definitely be a good spot for Bridgeport to get a little closer. They currently sit in fourth. Penn, after 2 rotations, Penn is first. And Brown in second, just percentage points behind. Yale in third, Bridgeport in fourth. But that last routine should help bump up the Purple Knights a bit as we get ready for our third rotation. A 9.75 for Coyle.
Okay.
So the event total of 48.275 for Bridgeport. And we'll take a timeout. Third rotation coming up. You're watching the Gymnastics East Conference Championship live from Philadelphia here on ESPN+.
Facts.
First 2 rotations complete here in Philadelphia. As we take a look at some of the highlights, Penn had a good round on beam. You can see the rotation 2 total scores. Penn remains in the lead. Solid job on beam with a 48.825. There's Carrico, did a nice job. Bridgeport on floor, finished strong, and that's all you could really ask for from the Purple Knights.
That's good. Yeah, their tumbling was not as hard as some of the others, but they did nice routines. And so, cleanliness is very important.
Margaret Coyle finished up on floor for Bridgeport. So now we get ready for the third rotation. We take a look at the score after 2 rotations. Still pretty close here, Fred.
Yeah.
You have 2 more rotations left. This will determine who wins this session.
That's true. If you look at that, there's less than a 2-point spread. Now, 2 points can be an awful lot as long as they keep performing the same way. But, all you need is 1 or 2 falls, and things change rapidly. So it's up to these ladies now to just nail the routines and keep their teams climbing up to the top.
So third rotation. The Penn Quakers, you see them on your screen. They are on floor. It'll be Yale going over to the beam, Brown on bars, and Bridgeport will have the vault. So we'll see what Penn can do on floor, and they're the leaders right now. So they're going to try and keep the lead, but Yale and Brown right behind them, and Bridgeport not too far behind either. So we'll see how things go here on floor for Penn. Marissa Lassiter, Emma Davies, Mimi Fletcher, Skylar Carrico, Zara Gadzak, and Mani Fofana. For Yale, they are on beam. They're getting started. Evangeline Chu, our first participant. And bottom right for Bridgeport, it's Tamira Singletary on vault. On bars, that's Brown. Bottom left, Daisy Fallon, Sophia Dewar, Emily Ford, Liza Marcus, Maya Davis, and Avery Walters.
There we go with vault. Vault is a tuck Yurchenko. It's a back handspring to the table from the board, and a 1.5 flip in a tuck position with a full twist.
A good start there for Singletary and Bridgeport. The Purple Knights in fourth, so this will be big for them here on the third rotation to try and get back into the conversation. And for Penn on floor, Marissa Lassiter to start things off. And on bars, Daisy Fallon, bottom left.
Floor, there's a combination pass, a front full stretch to a front full tucked. Now that's a dismount that you don't often see nowadays. That's a pike front with a half twist from a toe on.
That was Daisy Fallon on bars for the Brown Bears. Singletary with a 9.625 for Bridgeport. That makes way for Gracie Walker, bottom right. Next up on vault.
Oh, on floor, you just saw a double pike dismount, so that's the hardest dismount we've seen so far. She looks like she's having a lot of fun on floor.
That is Marissa Lassiter, top left. A lot of Penn Quaker fans in the building here at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Daisy Fallon on bars, 9.65 for Brown. So this will be Sophia Dewar, bottom left.
That release is called a Ginger, named after a German gymnast, Eberhard Ginger. He first did it in 1979.
Top right on beam, Allie Forbes. Evangeline Chu had a 9.5. On vault, Gracie Walker, a 9.575 for Bridgeport. This will be Emily Hernandez, bottom right. Yes, that's Allie Forbes, top right. And on floor, Emma Davies, top left for Penn.
Beam is going very well so far. And here's the opening pass on floor. Double pike. Whoa, almost stepped out.
That is Emma Davies, top left.
And off beam, you saw a pike gainer back salto dismount. Brown coach giving a couple pointers, last minute pointers to her gymnast as she gets ready to perform.
Next up on vault will be Abigail Kenny for Bridgeport. Emily Hernandez with a 9.65. On bars, Sophia Dewar had a 9.65. Emily Ford is up next for Brown, bottom left.
Oh, sadly. That's an interesting vault. She did a half on and a tucked handspring front out of it, but she had a little bit too much power. Didn't kick out fast enough, and she overturned it. But that's a vault you probably won't see many more of this meet.
So Emily Ford, bottom left for Brown. On bars.
Yep, sadly she was a little bit too far away on her Jaeger release. I'm sure she's disappointed about that bar routine. She's probably an inch or two too far away from the bar to hold on.
On floor, Emma Davies with a 9.575 for Penn. She had that near step out, probably a little bit off for that.
Yep.
So this will be Mani Fofana getting ready to go top left for Penn on floor. On vault, bottom right for Bridgeport, Lola Sepulveda. Abigail Kenny had a 9.05. So here is Fofana, top left.
Another double pike. Decent landing.
Emily Ford on bars with an 8.9. So Liza Marcus getting started bottom left on bars for Brown.
Balance beam drill had to wait a little bit because the judges had a conference. Had to make sure they got the correct score for the young lady.
And we're still waiting for Allie Forbes, her score. That is Ella Taschin getting set to go on beam. So Forbes ended up with a 9.575 for Yale. And final participant on vault, bottom right, Nova Starek for Bridgeport.
That was a stuck landing. The feet didn't move. And that's a vault that's called a Tsukahara with a full twist. It's named after a Japanese gymnast who did it in 1970 at the World Championship. A stretch Tsukahara with a full twist.
And by the way, Sepulveda on vault had a 9.8 for Bridgeport. A solid routine there from Taschin on beam from Yale.
Yep.
So that's a big 9.8 from Sepulveda. On bars, Liza Marcus, a 9.75
Nicely done.
for Brown. With Maya Davis getting set to go, bottom left. So vault is done. We're just waiting for the final score there for Starek for Bridgeport. Hannah Strauss getting set to go on beam for Yale.
Right to her handstand. Nice transition.
That's Maya Davis on bars. Mimi Fletcher, top left on floor for Penn.
And a nice stuck landing for a double back tucked off bars. Just prior, she did a full pirouette from back giant to back giant. But she did have some splits there that were obvious, so that'd be small deductions.
Still waiting for scores on beam, so Strauss getting ready. And that's
Floor was
Fletcher.
a front handspring, front somersault stretch with 1.5 twists.
Yep, Mimi Fletcher, top left. On floor for the Penn Quakers.
floor, back 1.5 twist stretch to a front salto stretch. Nicely put together. She's happy.
The Fletcher finishes up. Fofana before her had a 9.775 for her floor exercise. Maya Davis with a 9.825 on bars for Brown, and this is Avery Walters, bottom left, the final participant for Brown on uneven bars. Still waiting for a score, top right on beam, so that's why we're waiting.
Ooh. That was a hard release. It's called a toe on to Tkachev. She just was a little bit late getting off the bar, so she went too far.
So Allie Forbes with a 9.575 for Yale on beam. So this is Tashchin. Top right on beam for the Yale Bulldogs. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is Strauss. Tashchin had the 9.725. So a solid score for Yale on beam.
There she goes. And she repeated the release and caught it.
Bridgeport vault scores on the bottom right. Really solid finish there. Sepulveda and Starek, each with a 9.8 for the Purple Knights.
The stretch double fly out dismount. Stretch.
And Walters obviously disappointed with the fall, but
Yeah.
still finished strong, so we'll see what her scores are.
Yeah. It's nice that she got back up and did the release again and made it. So she recognized that she had to make a change. That's a good sign of good thinking.
Skylar Carrico on floor, top left for the Penn Quakers.
As we watch floor, you can see the movement is coordinated with the music very nicely. A change of rhythm.
It's a disco theme. I love it. How about you?
Yeah. Thanks to ABBA. Good double back to finish.
So we're all done with bars and vault. We're waiting for the final score for Avery Walters on bars. That's Haley Kriz on the right of your screen, getting set for beam as Carrico. Strong routine on floor.
Yep.
There's Haley Kriz. We're waiting for the score from Strauss for Yale.
You can see just under the beam, the judge has to flash a start value. That's to let everybody know the value of the routine so you can compare the final score to that perfect score.
On floor, the final participant for Penn will be Zara Gazdak. So Strauss, a 9.775 for Yale on beam, so they continue to get better. Avery Walters, a 9.125 on bars. Of course, she had the fall. So that's it on bars for the Brown Bears. Here is Haley Kriz on beam for Yale. A 9.75 for Skylar Carrico on floor. So here is Zara Gazdak on your left. As we mentioned, Haley Kriz on your right.
And Haley Kriz just did a nice back handspring step out to back layout step out. That was a nice combination pass on floor. It was front step out in a tuck position. Round off back handspring double back. Well, our balance beam lady just had a major bobble, sadly. But she stayed on the beam. She stayed on the beam. Almost a stick for a dismount. That was a back with a 1.5 twist, a small step.
So that was Haley Kriz. Last performer for Yale will be Ellie Kearns. And this is the final performer for Penn on floor, Gazdak. There's the Brown uneven bars score. Emily Ford, that'll be dropped, but you still had the Walters low score with the fall. So the bar score for Brown, that's going to drop them a little bit.
Yep.
Even though Maya Davis had a very solid routine, as Gazdak finishes up for Penn on floor. Another strong routine for the Quakers, looking to stay in front. Still have one more performer on beam for Yale. It'll be Ellie Kearns, awaiting the score of Haley Kriz. So the total for Bridgeport on vault, 48.45. Brown on bars, 48. And again, that's a little bit low because they had a couple of falls, unfortunately. Brown had been in second, but Yale a chance here to go in front of them with these routines on beam. There is Ellie Kearns.
Okay, you saw the 9.9 start value for the previous routine.
Gazdak on floor, a 9.675 for Penn. Puts them at an event total of 48.7. So Penn will likely stay in front here as we finish up the third rotation. Haley Kriz, a 9.5. We saw she had the bobble, stayed on the beam. So Ellie Kearns finishing up our third rotation for the Yale Bulldogs on balance beam.
Well, look nice and solid on that back handspring step out, layout step out.
There's your Penn floor scores. Very solid finish for the Quakers. And Lassiter, of course, got them off to a great start with that 9.8.
Yep. That was a nice leap combination. Back 1.5 stretched dismount. We've seen that a lot today.
So we'll wait for the scores for Ellie Kearns. In the meantime, we'll take a timeout. Fourth rotation coming up. Penn remaining in the lead. We're watching the Gymnastics East Conference Championship live from Philadelphia here on ESPN+. Third rotation complete here at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Some highlights on floor from Penn, who had a solid third rotation with a 48.7. Really great all around. Bridgeport, solid job on vault. That kind of puts them back up. But Yale and Brown still second and third. And it really was Penn who stood out in that third rotation.
Yep, they all had good routines, and you could tell that they were happy with their performances. And we did see some real hard stuff on floor, a couple of double pike backs, which was nice, a couple of unusual connections.
You see Yale here on beam. They did a solid job. 48.2. They had a couple of falls, a couple of bobbles, but overall, nice job.
Yep. They still want to stick those landings. See, oh, the little steps. The stuck landing really shows off that you're in control. And
there's some looks for Brown on bars.
Pleasing for the judges.
Brown, they had two performers who had falls, but that's why their score was a little low, but still solid landings.
But each of those landings had a little step, and that's where you give away tenths. You kind of nickel and dime yourself away. You're really looking for that stick. And get legs together on those turns. That was a good stick there.
Yeah, that was Davis, Maya Davis, and here's the Purple Knights of Bridgeport on vault. Yeah, this was probably the best rotation here for Bridgeport.
Yep, three of them did the Sukahara type vaults as opposed to the Chenko type vaults.
So here's your total scores after three rotations. Brown and Yale get a little bit closer now because Brown had a tough third rotation. Penn over a full point in front. Bridgeport creeping a little bit closer to Yale from the bottom. So tightened up between 2 through 4, but Penn with a solid lead going into the fourth and final rotation.
Brown and Yale are real tight there. And unless Penn falters, then they should wind up good. It all depends on the value of their vaults. But now the fight here really is between Brown and Yale for second place.
So Penn will finish up on vault here in the third rotation. And it will be Brown on the balance beam. On uneven bars, it will be Bridgeport. And on floor, it will be Yale. There is the fourth rotation. Actually, I believe that was the third rotation.
I think if Penn gets 9, 7, and above on its vaults, they won't be touched.
Yeah, and Penn vault usually finishes first, so you'll probably get a good idea of whether Penn will hold on to the lead or not at the very beginning.
That's right. We just have to see how those scores are.
Yep. So for Penn on vault, it'll be Lassiter, Olivia Van Horn, Werlin, Fofana, Carrico, and Jordan Barrow. On floor, you get a good look at Yale. It'll be Holt, Strauss, Megan Brook, Ellie Kearns, DeJoy, and Tashton. On beam, it will be Liza Marcus, Lindsay Van Eck, Avery Walters, Erin Ford, Lindsay Yang, Jessica Lynn for the Brown Bears. There is the fourth rotation. Penn on vault, Yale on floor, Brown on beam, and Bridgeport on bars. So it'll be Lauren Holt first off on floor for Yale, top left.
Here she is. Double twisting front stretched.
On bars for Bridgeport, it will be Olivia Imberlina. There's Lauren Holt. So bottom left is Imberlina. On beam, top right is Marcus.
Oh, you didn't get to see that vault, but she looks like she's happy.
And that's Lassiter, who started Penn off on floor.
Oh, nice stick on uneven bars. Nice landing. Coach is happy. Assistant coach is happy.
So we'll wait for the scores for Imberlina on bars. Well, Lassiter, a 9.875 to start Penn off in this final rotation. It's a pretty good score to start off for the Quakers.
That's a real nice score. If they can build on that, it'll be a no touch Penn today.
Nice job on beam by Liza Marcus for Brown. As Holt finishes up her routine for Yale on the floor. And we're waiting for the score for Imberlina
Here comes
on bars. Oh.
All right, that's an unusual vault for today. That was a handspring pike front.
Olivia Van Horn.
Nicely done.
For Penn.
Just a hop.
On vault. Penn is just racing through this last rotation here on vault.
Yep.
Still waiting for some scores on floor and beam. Imberlina, 9.675 on bars for the Bridgeport Purple Knights.
There's our next performer on bars.
This is Ray Solis on bars.
It's a free hip circle. There's a Ginger release. Women call it a clear hip circle. There's another one, a clear hip circle.
Top left, Hannah Strauss starting on floor for Yale. Olivia Van Horn at 9.7 for Penn on vault.
So that big step on the uneven bar dismount will cost her at least 3/10. So that, figure that score won't go over a 9.7. She did have some form breaks in there too.
On beam, Lindsay Van Eck for Brown. Liza Marcus ended up with a 9.7. That was Alicia Werlin on vault, bottom right.
That's a Yurchenko full twist stretched. The big step at the end will cost her 3/10, but she landed on her feet.
Van Horn ended up with a 9.7 for Penn on vault. We'll see where Werlin's score comes in.
So if they get two more scores like that, then, oh, sadly we just had a fall on floor.
Yeah, that was Strauss.
Overturned. A little too powerful. Oh, that's an interesting dismount on balance beams. Layout full off the side.
That was Lindsay
Off
Van
of
Eck.
1 foot. It was very nice.
Excuse me, Lindsay Van Eyck. Werlin with a 9.7 for Penn on vault. Here comes Fofana.
Okay.
Mani Fofana.
They just need two more good vaults, and they've sewn up this session. Oh, almost a stick. Almost a stick. That's a Yurchenko full twist.
Samantha Noakes on bars for Bridgeport, bottom left.
Yeah, nicely done Jaeger release.
Solis, 9.625 for Bridgeport on bars before a solid stick there for Noakes. So after Van Eyck on beam for Brown, it will be Avery Walters.
All right.
So Fofana, a 9.75 on vault for Penn. Strauss ends up with a 9 even on floor because of the tumble.
And Carrico, who's up next on vault, last weekend scored a 9.925 on vault, her career high. So we can expect to see a really good vault from her.
Avery Walters, top right on beam. Getting started on floor is Megan Bruck for the Yale Bulldogs. Here goes Skylar Carrico, bottom right, on vault for Penn.
Oh, that was Yurchenko 1.5 twists. That's a higher value vault. And just a small hop on the landing. I think they just put this meet away.
We'll wait for Carrico's scores.
Yeah.
Noakes on bars for Bridgeport with a 9.75. So now it's Nicole Pujols, a freshman for Bridgeport, on bars.
Oh, what a shame. Nice routine, over-rotated the double dismount on bars.
How about Skylar Carrico on vault? A 9.925.
Matches her season high. And that puts the meet away for the girls. The next vault is just icing on the cake.
That's right, cherry on top here. Jordan Barrow trying to finish strong for the Quakers. Bottom right.
I don't know if the judge could see, but she actually went over the line. That would be 1/10 off.
Well, if that's above if it's above a 9.7, that still bumps up their score a little bit.
Well, that's true.
For this rotation.
That's right.
So we're waiting for some scores. Well, luckily that didn't matter.
It wasn't on floor. Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. Megan Brook, 9.775 for Yale on the floor exercise, with Ellie Kearns coming up. Emily Ford on beam for Brown. Avery Walters got a 9.75, solid score for Brown on the balance beam.
Very nice.
Kearns getting started with her routine on floor for Yale.
Easy layout, step out on beam.
Barrow with a 9.775 on vault for Penn. So they end up with a 49.025 for this rotation on vault. And like you said, Fred, Penn wrapped that up.
Yep. Ooh, bad bobble on beam, sadly. She put her hands down. That's a half point.
So we're finished up on the vault for the night.
Yep.
Emily Ford on beam, Ellie Kearns on floor. Now this is Emily Hernandez on bars for the Bridgeport Purple Knights.
Clear hip, nice transition. Another nice transition, bar to bar.
As Ford wraps up on beam, there's the scores for the Penn vault. Can't get much better than that there, Fred.
Yep, that's it. They're really happy with that one. It's a great way to finish.
So Penn finishes with a 195.55 for the session.
That's a terrific score.
So Kearns finishes up on floor.
Yeah. Penn had just under a 9.8 average for the whole meet. So that's a very nice performance.
Yep, they started strong, finished strong.
Yeah.
Pretty strong in all 4 events. That 9.925 from Carrico on vault, that finished it right there.
That's the high score of the meet, I believe.
I believe you're right. I haven't seen higher than a 9.9. We got a couple 9.9s.
Yeah.
I think Maya Davis had a 9.9.
Yeah. Well, she's got to be pleased with her performance today. She had a very strong all-around performance today, too. I wonder where she stands in the all-around at this point. We have to wait until the meet finishes.
Probably, yes. All right, so Ellie Kearns on floor with a 9.8 for Yale. That's their best score so far.
That's good.
Emily Hernandez with a 9.7 on bars for Bridgeport. So Abigail Kenny finishing things up for the Purple Knights on the uneven bars, bottom left. On floor is Chloe DeJoy, top left.
Nicely done. That's a toe one dismount, pike front half, pike front with half twist. Nice thing about that dismount is you can see the ground the entire time, so it helps you with landing decisions.
So we'll see what Kenny's score is as we're done on uneven bars now for Bridgeport. A good finish for Kenny. It was a tough meet for her, but a good finish.
Yeah, I'm sure she feels good about having a good routine on her last event.
So we watch DeJoy, top left. We're waiting for scores on beam. Chloe DeJoy on floor for the Yale Bulldogs.
Finished with an easy 1.5 twisting front stretched, which we call it a Rudy for short. Borrowed from the trampolinists.
So Lindsay Yang getting set to go on beam as we wait for the scores here for Emily Ford.
Okay.
Yang is ready to go. Emily Ford at 9.325. Lindsay Yang for the Brown Bears on beam. We await the scores for DeJoy on floor as Ella Tashchin ready to go.
That's called a double wolf turn. That's a tough one to stay on balance. It's the first one I've seen today.
Abigail Kenny a 9.75 for Bridgeport on bars, so they finish with a 48.5 for this rotation. Chloe DeJoy a 9.8, so continuing some solid scores for Yale in the floor exercise. Ooh. So there's Bridgeport on the uneven bars. Pretty consistent all around. You can throw out that 9.075. So overall, pretty good finish for Bridgeport.
For sure.
This is Ella Tashchin, final routine on floor for Yale.
Nice that pass on beam was flawless after the fall. And there's a gainer pike dismount. I'm sure she's disappointed about the fall. That was on a very hard skill. It's we call it a Arabian dive and step out. You jump backwards with a half turn and then land on your feet, but she went a little bit crooked. That's real tough to do.
So we'll wait for the scores for Lindsay Yang. Jessica Lynn will be the final performer on beam for Brown. And again, Ella Tashchin on floor. So Ella Tashchin finishes it up on floor for Yale. Yeah. And we saw that after the third rotation, Yale and Brown were very close You know, Brown finishes up on beam. They've had a fall. They trying to get back up, but Yale with a strong finish to floor. So we'll see where they stand. This is going to be a big routine right here for Jessica Lynn and the Brown Bears. We're still waiting for the scores for Lindsay Yang.
Well, Lindsay's score won't help them because of the fall, but this young lady can pick things back up.
Well, Van Eyck had the 9:07.5 for Brown. So we'll see if Yang finishes above that. Still discussing. So we talked about it, Ben. Penn is done on vault. Bridgeport is done on bars. Tashchin with another 9.8, so 3 straight 9.8s for Yale on floor. So a good strong finish here in the final rotation for the Bulldogs. This is going to be close here, Fred.
Yeah.
For second place. Penn is pretty much locked up. They've locked it up.
Yeah, Penn is good.
Here in the second session.
Yeah, Penn is good.
Now, Bridgeport will probably finish in 4th, but they finish strong on bars.
Well, I think Brown has had 2 routines with falls, so I think that may
drop them to 3rd. Yeah,
the 3rd.
So there's the Yale floor exercise. You can see what a great job. Really, other than the fall by Strauss, all the routines were really solid for Yale.
That's right.
So Lindsay Yang ends up with a 9.275. So even with the fall, that's an okay score for Brown. Jessica Lynn, our last performer of the night.
That was pretty good. Just a little bit of a bobble at the very end of it. A side aerial, nicely done. Solid landing. That was a difficult leap, but she's a little bit off balance at the end of it. And looks like she's getting ready for the end. That was a tucked 1.5 twisting back. And I think that'll put them in 3rd.
Yeah, we'll see the scores. Yale overall, a 194.125. We'll wait for Jessica Lynn's scores. I believe we'll give that to you on the other side. We'll take a quick timeout. We will wrap things up as we're all done and just waiting for the final scores here at the Gymnastics East Conference Championship Session 2 here in the evening in Philadelphia. All our performances are complete here at the legendary Palestra in Philadelphia. Alongside Fred Toroff, I'm Ari Bluestein. We take a look at the 4th rotation highlights, and Yale really finished strong with some solid floor routines.
Yale did very well on floor. Showed they came to fight. That was good.
And we'll get our final official results. Here's the final rotation. On beam, Brown struggled a little bit, and that you could see they end up with a 47.65. Lynn ended up with a 9.6 right at the end. They had a couple falls in there, and that opened the door for Bridgeport. There were some good dismounts, though, from Brown.
Yeah.
So these are, again, the beam highlights from Brown. And then here's Bridgeport on bars. And Bridgeport struggled early. They started with beam, but they had some solid routines on uneven bars.
There we go with tuck double back after tuck double back. Hard to find the ground at the end of that. Takes a lot of repetitions.
So the Purple Knights end up with a 4.8.5, but Penn closed things out with a solid vault. Little bit of a step back there, but wait till you see the Carrico, the score of the night, the 9.925. Here it comes.
This is 1.5 twists with a very small hop.
I mean, if she sticks that, I mean, that's a 9.95 if not higher.
That's right.
You see all the teams lining up from the earlier session. William and Mary had the best score of session 1. Westchester, Southern Connecticut, and Cornell. And then, of course, you have Bridgeport, Penn, Brown, and Yale from this session. So in a minute, we'll turn it over to our PA announcer for our final scores. We know that Penn won this second session unofficially.
There we go.
So here we go. Oh. So you can see even
look at that.
Session 2 really dominated overall. Penn, Yale, and Bridgeport 1, 2, and 3. These are unofficial. We're going to wait for the final scores. We'll hear the announcement. William and Mary won session 1, but they ended up in 4th overall. Cornell 5, Brown ends up in 6, Westchester 7, and Southern Connecticut State in 8. But if these are true, what a performance here that we saw, Fred, here in our evening session here at the Palestra.
Yep, Penn was dominant. They did very well, and they should be really happy with their performances. It's interesting to note 4, 5, and 6. Look how close that is. That's 1/10 separating 3 teams.
Yeah, William and Mary really surprised. You know, they were not expected to finish on top in that first session. Really a strong performance from the Tribe. But yes, they were all very close. You saw Yale, you see Yale and Bridgeport not too far off, but hand it to the Purple Knights because they went up against some tough competition. They started tough with the beam, but they end up finishing strong and end up in 3rd.
If you look at these scores, with the exception of Southern Connecticut, which almost was there, they're all 9.6 and above average. That's very good gymnastics. So these ladies all did a nice job.
A great event here at the Palestra. Rich Kahn, our PA announcer, will be coming on in just a moment as all of the teams you see lined up on the floor to close out the night here in Philadelphia, the Gymnastics East Conference Championship. And there will be some hardware given out in just a few moments.
You notice how they're all sitting in a straddle where they're more flexible like that than most of the population.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cannot sit like that. Maybe for maybe 2 seconds, but not for an entire award ceremony.
I'll bet almost all of them can just lay their chest down on the ground too, you know. And that's a necessary flexibility to do advanced gymnastics.
Alongside Fred Toroff, I'm Ari Bluestein. We're wrapping up the night here at the Palestra in Philadelphia, the GEC 2025 Championship. We had session 1 earlier at 12 o'clock, so for those of you who watched that, thank you for joining us here in this evening session. It's been a long day. Our great crew here at the Penn Sports Network, great camera work, graphics, replay, great job all around from our crew. As these teams await, Yale is on the far left, William and Mary next to them to the right, the Westchester Golden Rams, Penn Quakers right in the middle, the Bridgeport Purple Kings next to them, followed by Southern Connecticut State, Cornell, and then Brown on the far right. So we're going to take one final timeout. When we come back, we'll hopefully have official results and hand out the hardware. You're watching the GEC Championships here on ESPN+. At the legendary Palestra here in Philadelphia, alongside Fred Toroff, I'm Ari Bluestein. We are awaiting the official results. All 8 teams on the floor, so we will turn it over to our PA announcer, Rich Kahn.
Is there any paperwork I have to sign?
From Westchester, Brooke Schistler, Miranda Gardina, and Gabby Louis Charles. From William and Mary, Annie Francis. And from Yale, Christina Kennedy. Next, we'd like to recognize the All-Conference Scholar Athletes. Will all of our All-Conference Scholar Athletes please stand? These student athletes demonstrate exceptional time management and dedication and balance rigorous academic demands alongside the physical and mental challenges of their sport. Their ability to maintain high academic standards while achieving success on the field reflects their discipline, perseverance, and commitment to excellence. Please come to the table to pick up their flowers for our senior ceremony. Flowers today are provided by Wildflower in Barrington, New Jersey.
Are we all doing it?
Now, at this time, we'd like to recognize our 2025 Gymnastics East Conference seniors. Athletes, when your name is called, please meet your coach for a picture. First, from Brown University, Julia Bedell, Maya Davis, Addie Liebhardt, and Sophia Sokolowski. From Cornell University, Sydney Beers, Savannah Coakley, Laura McKenzie, Kate Michelini, Maddie Sokolowski, and Thea Spurko and Maddie Wolf. From Southern Connecticut University, Libby Allen, Hannah Zepti, Lexi Breaker, Alexa Alonso, Shreya Machi, Angel Lee, Erica Meyer, Sydney Wilson, Amelia Diaz, Emily Hall, Brianna Marriott, Sarah Ortiz, Sienna Rios, and Megan Berkman.
they're going to go through all the events and do the all-around.
Individual results on uneven bars. Two-way tie for 5th place, both with scores of 9.80.